This is my MakerSpace presentation. So how have my interests, motivations, and social connections helped me develop knowledge, expertise, and the moxie to make and do the things you love, or things I love? I create an end goal for myself. That's one of the main things that I have learned to do as an adult. If I don't have an end goal, then I'm not motivated to take a class or complete a project or make a social connection even. I'm generally an outgoing person, so I enjoy making social connections because I know how important they can be. But if I don't set an end game or an end goal or see the light at the end of the tunnel, then it's hard for me to be motivated to do something. But once I start on a path, I can usually finish and get it done. That way I can move on to the next project in my life. How can my students interests, motivations, and social connections to develop knowledge about the subject? So how can I use my students' interests, motivations, and social connections? Well, by finding out what my students are interested in, I can create lessons and projects based around the things they're interested in. That way, when they complete the assignment, it's enjoyable for them and it creates a better working environment for them. So if I'm going to do like a coloring project for my kindergartners, I'm going to maybe print out a bunch of different pictures so that my students can each have their own unique and individual picture to color that is something they enjoy coloring, like a ballerina or a T-Rex or a school bus. You know, my students love all different kinds of things, and I do try to incorporate the things they enjoy into my lessons and projects. That way, they really enjoy learning about the topic. For my classroom, MakerSpace can be used to do a lot of things. One thing I really work on in my class is working together. Everyone's a friend. So we don't pick on each other, we don't hate on each other. We all work together to get things done. So I can have my students like build puzzles, build a castle. If I give them a bunch of string and cups, hopefully they'll create something that they want to make their own and something they can create together as a class. I use a lot of manipulatives and building blocks in my classes as a kindergarten teacher to show them how they can fit things together and how certain things fit in certain places. So that they can learn how not only to work together, but how to create different things, because the building blocks are an endless amount of opportunities to create things. So, fostering independence, risk-taking, and perseverance in all my students' learning and behaviors is something hard in kindergarten because my students can see that I am an adult and I can do things well, but I can incorporate MakerSpace into that because students can make it their own. They can make their own decisions by continuously doing it every week, right? That helps foster that independence and the perseverance that they need to keep going. When it comes to independence, I try to help them, but constructively. So if they're like, can you help me draw the letter M? I will take their hand and physically show them how to draw the letter M, the movements. And then from there, I just create dots so that eventually they'll be able to do it on their own and not ask me for help for every letter we draw. But I also show them that, it's okay to make mistakes because by making a mistake, we're taking that risk and we're learning from that risk, right? I'm creating a positive work and play environment so that my children can make mistakes, and that's okay. Lots of people can use MakerSpace. When I was doing the research on it, lots of people, teachers, support staff, aides, tutors, anyone that works at a school, an after school, a daycare, anyone that works with children, even adults, can use MakerSpace. The usual targeted audience is children, to get them to learn to work together and build things based on the images and creations in their mind. But even employers, like when you go to work at places like Amazon and Walmart, you work in teams. So it's important to teach adults how to work in teams and how that works as well, and how to create things. Even at Amazon, how can I make this assembly line faster? Is there something I can do different to get product out quicker? Things like that. The skills we want learners to develop are to use their brains, critical thinking. We want children and adults to learn to work together and how sharing a task works, right? Sometimes when you're in like a college class and the professor's like, you're going to get in a group of 5 and you're going to work on a project. And you're just like, I know I'm going to be that one person doing most of the work. Well, through MakerSpace, we're teaching kids that will hopefully turn into adults that know how to divvy up work. You take this part of the project and you take this and you take that and so on and so forth. And by doing this, the project gets done by everybody and not just one person. And these can lead to, using MakerSpace in classrooms and in the workspace can lead to creativity, right? That's how we got people like Bill Gates and, Elon Musk creating electric cars and the internet and, iPhones and Samsungs, and that's how we got where we are today, and that's where we're currently going, is by people who are developing these skills like critical thinking and just creating things based off images in their mind. So I thought this question was really interesting, because how will we keep it from being just a craft space, or do we need to? I think we need to. I think it needs to be a crafting space, because when students feel free to express themselves, then they'll create the things that they want to. And that's what MakerSpace is about putting things together, working together, creating things you enjoy. So I think it is important. We got, tie-dye out of probably a happy accident. That's what we're trying to create. Even if we have it a crafting space, maybe they make this huge fluff ball that can be used in the classroom to pass around versus a bouncy ball. Happy accidents are what we're looking for. And if it's an accident, then they can learn from that. And that's where the risk-taking and other options come in too. So we're just fostering creativity, and using a crafting space as a maker space is one of those things, especially as a kindergarten teacher, that I use. What will we do for the kids who are amazing at making? I have those students in my class right now in kindergarten who are just amazing at everything, because it's fostered at home as well. So for my amazing makers, I create more challenging environments, right? I give them multicolored blocks versus just one colored block to make things, to make pictures. And if it's still not enough, then I have them lead a project. I give them all the blocks and I'm like, okay, you and your friends are going to make, a castle out of these blocks. Like help your friends make a castle, or, make a dinosaur, or make whatever you want, and see how creative you can get. And so that's the idea of having those higher level students, is having them, help other students, or even tell me their step-by-step, like what they did to get to where they are. If they built a dinosaur, have them tell me how they built that dinosaur. So for this one, what will we do for those kids who think they're terrible? I have those students. I can't do this. I don't know how to do this. What do I do? I just show them that there is no terrible. And I show them that I'm terrible. If we're writing letters or if we're drawing a picture, I draw it. I write it with them. But I don't do it perfect. I show them that not everybody's perfect, and that it's all a learning process, and we all do things differently, and that's okay. So I do try to show those kids that I'm terrible too, I can't write a perfect letter. I can't draw, a perfect shaped pizza. We did an art project that was, a pizza with arms and legs and a happy face. And I showed them that mine wasn't perfect and that theirs doesn't have to be perfect. So the role of the classroom teacher is to help promote creativity and to help promote critical thinking. I am there to teach them that it's okay to fail. That, we use a term called failed forward, right? So even though you failed, you continue to move forward. So I help foster those things in my classroom so that my students don't think, oh, well, because she can do it and I can't do it, I'm, horrible. I'm there to promote that, no, you're not horrible. We all do things differently, and that's okay. And there's nothing wrong with that. And to just keep trying. And I'm there to help them through that. So that's really what MakerSpace is about, is students being allowed to show you, the teacher, or show whoever, that they are at least trying to do something. And even if they fail, they're going to continue to try until they get it right, or until they find a new way to do it. That's the idea.